So should you buy a two-door Jeep Wrangler? The short answer to that is absolutely not, unless. And that's the big caveat here, is the unless. First of all, let's take a quick look at it. This is a 2024 Jeep Wrangler. It is the 2-liter turbocharged, I guess, which to my surprise is actually pretty powerful in the Wrangler. It goes. I would say it rivals my wife's V6 two-door Jeep Wrangler, which you guys can see sitting right there. Now, don't get me wrong. When I say it rivals hers, I mean it's close. Hers is still pretty darn quick. Now, the size. You can see, and obviously you know, the two-door Jeep Wrangler is really not very large, except in the front area. Of course, up here in the front, there's plenty of room for anyone. You never know that it's so small in the back when you're sitting in the front. They've done a good job over the years enlarging the Jeep a bit and making it feel really like it's a bigger vehicle than it is. But I'm here to tell you, it's still not a big vehicle. Now, let's talk about the back seat. There's no doors over here, so how do you get in? Well, you kind of have to finagle things around a little bit. First of all, there is a handle up here you kind of pull on, and let me get my sunscreen out of the way. And then you kind of pull the seat forward. I don't know, let's try doing it with the handle. Pull it forward, which takes a little bit of effort. Now, you're going to get about that much room. Not too bad if you're 16 years old, maybe 10 years old, but you still have to crawl in there. And how you do that is you kind of have to finagle your leg up there and then kind of crawl through the back here. You can see it's a pretty tight squeeze, right? Now, once you actually get in, well, unless you're changing sides, you would just go ahead and plop right down in the seat that would normally be there. Obviously, mine has been removed. I took it out because I thought, you know, I'm not really going to use the back for passengers because it's not very conducive to people getting in and out. Again, unless you have really little kids that are pretty agile. So I took it out to give myself more room to haul stuff back here. By the way, if you have a dog, it's a great area for them. Put a mat down, you can let them in the back, and then they'll have all that space back there to move around, even a big dog. Now, getting out, that's even more of a challenge. You kind of have to turn around backwards, kind of sling one of your legs out of that door area, and then you're out. Putting the seat back, just give it a push, and then push, and you'll end up back the way that you were. Now, speaking of the back, let's take a real quick look back there. Again, not a ton of room if you happen to still have your back seat back here, because normally it would be right up against this area right about here, which means you only have about the width, a little bit less actually, of these storage bins to put anything in. Not a whole lot of room. You could put a few groceries and stuff back there, but it's definitely not an area where you're gonna throw a big screen TV or a load of dirt, or maybe the golf clubs if you happen to be a golfer. Now, what I mentioned in the beginning, you should definitely not buy a two-door Jeep Wrangler unless you are single. In other words, you don't have more than 2 people to haul around in the Jeep Wrangler with you. Even little kids. I mean, could you imagine with that opening that you have there, and let's say you have a car carrier or a car seat in the back for the wee little ones. You have to kind of finagle them in through that little opening I showed you, and then get them all secured while you're trying to lean in, because there's not really any way you can kind of get inside to help them unless you manage to plop them in the seat, hope that they stay there while you run around to the other side, pull the seat back, climb in, and then try to lean over them to fasten them into the seat. Just not very handy. Now, what if you have older kids? Well, kind of depends. You know, I would think anywhere from about 6 years old, maybe 5, on up to about, maybe 10, 11 years old. They might actually enjoy riding back there. But you and I both know that as kids get older, they get a little bit more cranky, a little bit more demanding. And they're not gonna like crawling it out of that back area. Now, you may not care about that, but you are still gonna have to listen to the never-ending complaining that you're gonna get every time you jump in that Jeep with the family and try to go somewhere. Now, once those kids get older, or maybe you just have some friends, let's say the two-door Wrangler is your only vehicle, and maybe you're going out to dinner with the parents or something, and you're picking them up. Now, if you're, say, in your 30s maybe, and your parents are, I don't know, pick a number, maybe 25 years older than you are, they're going to be in their mid-50s. Now, can you imagine your parents in their mid-50s trying to crawl into the back of your Jeep Wrangler? I would guess that they would probably tell you that you and your spouse should jump in the back, they'll drive, and they'll take the front seat area, only because it's just so horrible to get in the back. Now, you may think that because of my slightly negatively oriented view of the Jeep Wrangler in certain circumstances that I don't like it. That's not true. I love the Jeep Wrangler, but I've gotten one at a time in my life where I don't have any little kids or teenagers, and also have other vehicles like this one and also a RAV4 that I can comfortably fit bigger people, adults in. So I don't have to worry about having another way. And that's probably another caveat to this, unless you have another vehicle that you can haul around bigger things or bigger people in. In other words, maybe the Jeep Wrangler is just your daily driver and your weekend play toy. You know, you drive it back and forth to work by yourself. And on the weekend, maybe you and maybe your spouse head out to a trail somewhere, a woods or whatever. And there's plenty of room for just the two of you in there. I say all of this with a lot of experience. Over the years with little kids, I have had Jeep Wrangler 2-doors, and I always traded them off not too long afterwards because it was such a pain trying to fit everybody inside the 2-door Jeep Wrangler. Anyway, just wanted to kind of share my experience with you guys. Maybe you're in the market, you're thinking that I'd really like to have one of those 2-door Jeep Wranglers because they're so freaking cool, but you're married and have 2 little kids. God forbid you have 3. I don't know where you'd put them. Leave a comment. Let me know if you agree. The 2-door Jeep Wrangler, something you really shouldn't have. Unless you're single, or maybe it's just you and your spouse. Leave a comment. I'd be curious to hear what you have to say. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.